What's happening, guys? My name is Anthony, and in today's F1 22 video I'm going to be showing you guys how much time you can actually lose based on what assists you use. So let's get straight into it. I've already done a lap which I'll show you guys right around now.
That last lap was a 1:04.
And we're basically going to be comparing my lap time here to my lap times with certain assists on. So the assists that we're going to be using, as we take a quick look, are going to be, as you can see, no assists. We're going to be turning the braking assist on. We're going to be using all three different modes of that and seeing how much time you actually lose based on that. We'll also turn on ABS. We'll turn on traction control. We'll do medium and full. Racing line, it doesn't improve the performance of the car. It doesn't improve or diminish the car's performance, so we don't need to really worry about that. And then the gearbox, automatic gearbox, is probably the last one that we'll use. In terms of ERS, once the full game comes out and we have a better understanding about the ERS, I'm probably going to be making a full dedicated video on that. So there's no need for me to talk about ERS in this video. So those are assists we're going to be looking at. Let's take a look. So quickly before we get into the main part of the video, I would like to thank Next Level Racing for sponsoring this video with their Next Level Racing FPT Elite Cockpit. Make sure to go to the link in the description if you want a racing cockpit for F1 22. This is one of the best on the market, and they've also got other options if you don't have the budget to get them. Okay guys, so for the first assist, what we're going to do is look at braking assists. So for this one, we've got three different modes. We've got low, medium, and high. So we'll see what low is like first, and then we'll compare it to the no assist time that I did, and then we'll do the same for medium and high as well. So let's check out low. Let's try a few laps and see what's the quickest lap we can get and how far off that is from the no assist time. I'm going to try and maybe go into a corner without braking and see what happens first, and then we'll maybe restart the lap. Okay, so yeah, it definitely brakes for you, just not a lot. I think it just starts the process, and if you don't know what the braking assist actually does if you're new to the game, basically what it does is there's a certain braking point that it will have, and then as soon as you pass that braking point, it will then start braking for you. Obviously, if you use low, it's not that much, but if you use high, it's very aggressive. So yeah, you can see in this corner, you can really see how it just is slowed down for me. Turn 1 is not as much. We're roughly about 7 tenths, which I don't think is representative of this. Okay, so yeah, we've done it a couple of times, and the best lap time I was able to get was roughly about 4 tenths slower. So we'll say that the low braking assist makes you roughly about 4 tenths a lap slower. Around Austria, that seems a little bit too much for me personally, just because obviously Austria is quite a small track. So if you take that to a track that has a lot more slower corners or is a lot longer, like for example Singapore or Spa, then you know the changes are going to be even more drastic. But let's move on to medium. Let's do a couple of laps and let's see how slow medium is compared to low and no assist. Okay, one thing I've actually noticed as well is braking assist. I guess it technically gives you a different version of traction control as well, just because when you're coming out of a corner, if you're still within that braking zone, then obviously it's not going to let you put the power on. So it kind of gives you a pseudo traction control as well. It's not what we're focusing on here, but we're going to do one more lap and see what the time is there, and then we can actually fully judge for ourselves how much time we're losing on F122 with the medium braking assist. Okay, so as we cross the final corner now, around about 8 tenths I will say. With braking assist set to medium, we're losing about 8 tenths of a second. Now it's time for high. This is the most aggressive braking assist that they've got, and this one should be so aggressive that I don't even think I need to brake for myself. I actually think it completely brakes for you. Okay, so let's test using turn 9 and turn 10. Yeah, pretty much. As long as I lift off, I pretty much don't need to brake at all. Okay, here we are, coming up to the final couple of corners. Just over a second down on our time as we take these next couple of corners quite aggressively here. And there we go, about 1.2 seconds slower than our PB without assist. Let's recap real quick for the braking assist. For the braking assist on low, we lose about 4 tenths of a second per lap, and this is around Austria. With tracks that have more traction zones, probably going to lose a little bit more. For medium, we lost about 8 tenths, and for high, we've lost about 1.2 seconds, which is a lot of time to lose just one assist. Okay then guys, so next what we've got is braking, anti-lock braking system, so ABS. I'm going to skip that one because I don't think that's going to make up much of a difference in terms of lap times. And we're going to move on to the next one that I do think is going to make a huge difference in terms of lap time. And that is traction control. So instead of having 3 options, we've only got 2 options with this one, medium and full. Now, if you don't know what traction control does, if you're new to the game, what it does is it cuts off the engine just a little bit when you're putting too much on the throttle coming out of a corner. And this just obviously stops you from spinning. In Formula 1, traction control hasn't been a thing since, I believe, the early 2000s. I believe they got rid of it after the 2004 season. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section if you do know exactly when it was changed in Formula 1. But I do remember the F2004 Ferrari car did have inbuilt traction control. So I do know it was a thing, I just don't know when it was changed because I've only been watching the sport myself since 2019. But yeah, a second, that's not representative of medium traction control, I don't think. Okay, around about 5 tenths of a second. Honestly, that sounds a little bit more realistic into how much time I would lose around here with medium traction control. 5 tenths roughly. So we'll turn on full now, and we'll see how much time we lose with full traction control compared to medium and compared to no traction control at all. Again, I feel as if I can get on the throttle so early, but it's just not letting you get the power down with traction control. There we go, that's much better. That is much better. But again, we still lost about 4 tenths of a second. Okay, roughly about 8 tenths of a second, I think. Coming up to the final couple of corners. See how much time we lose here. We didn't even really lose that much time. I'll say about half, just over half a tenth. So yeah, I would say with full traction control, you're losing at least minimum, and this is just compared to yourself, 8.5 tenths of a second per lap around a track like Austria. If you're racing at a track with a lot more slow speed corners where you really need to get on the throttle early, you're probably losing even more time, and that's just to yourself, let alone to somebody else who's not using traction control, who may be taking better lines than you and stuff like that. So yeah, 8.5 tenths for full traction control. Okay then, so next on the list we've got ABS, and to be honest with you guys, I don't really think that this one is gonna change the performance of the car too much in terms of lap times, but there will be a difference. And if you don't know what ABS is, it's an anti-lock braking system. If you hit on the brakes super hard, usually you will lock up the tires, or if you're braking and you're braking too much whilst turning too much going into a corner, you will lock up the tires and you'll end up shooting off. What ABS does is if you're braking too hard, it will automatically just lift the brakes from the brake disc just a little bit, and that avoids locking up. It does make your braking zones a little bit longer, and obviously it will generally make you a little bit slower around certain tracks. Last year's game, ABS was actually pretty powerful, especially around a track like Monaco. You actually gained time with ABS. There was a lot of people who went for the world record around Monaco with ABS on. So I'm hoping that it's not as powerful in F122, but we'll find out now. Now that I've got ABS on, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to force myself to brake hard and longer so that we can actually use the benefits of not locking up the tires and see how much that changes in terms of lap times. So far, we've lost about 7/700ths of a second. Brake hard and for long here, brake hard into the corner. Really slows down the car. Lost quite a little bit of time there, and that's just because, again, I was braking quite hard into the corner. Yeah, and we didn't even really lose 3/10, and honestly, that's just because we were braking quite hard into corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive normally, try get a lap, and see exactly how much time we lose, if we lose any time. Okay then, guys, so yeah, I did a couple of laps, and each lap we were losing around about 1/10 of a second. So me personally, using ABS, I lose about 1/10 of a second, but I'm sure with people who use ABS more, or maybe people who are new to the game, maybe ABS might actually help you guys in terms of lap times rather than lose time. But for me personally, I lose about 1/10 of a second per lap around Austria with the ABS turned on. So for the last assist that we're going to be using, it's going to be the gearbox in this one. Again, automatic gearbox. How this helps you lose time, it's just you're not able to go into the corners with the certain gear that you want. It might shift up a little bit too quickly as you're on the straights, meaning that you're losing power down the straights. It really just depends on the situation and your driving style. But if you don't want to use automatic gearbox, I highly recommend watching track guides, whether they're my own or whether they're other people's on YouTube. Just watch track guides and get a feel for what gears you should be going into corners in, how you should be shifting up on straights, etc, etc. Alright, here we go. First time lap with automatic gears. I don't really think you're going to be losing that much straight line speed, but you will lose some, I feel. Didn't lose too much time throughout the first corner, only 400th per second, which is not too bad, to be honest. Let's see how we do in turn 3. We didn't really lose any time at all. I think we lost off the exit anyway. We only lost about a couple thousandths of a second. But we are 1/10.5 down overall. Okay, not bad. Overall, we've lost about 3.5 tenths, which, to be honest, is a lot lower than I thought. I thought it was going to be around the 4 tenths mark. 4 tenths to 5 tenths mark. Yeah, 3.5 tenths. So if you're using automatic gears, you're losing around about 3.5 tenths per lap. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to turn all the assists on to its highest point and see how much time we lose with maximum assists on. So for braking assist, we're going to turn that on to high. For traction control, that's on full. And for gearbox, that is on automatic. Obviously with ABS, that's automatically turned on when you have braking assist. I will also turn on the DRS assist as well, so we don't lose any time due to us not turning on the DRS in time. So let's see how much time we lose overall. Okay, honestly, I don't think I've ever had so many assists on at one given point. I think even when I got started with this game, I didn't have this many assists on. So I don't need to brake, I don't need to shift, I don't need to hit the ERS, I don't need to do anything. All I need to do is just steer. Here comes turn 3. Just so that we can actually make it around the corner. There we go. We've lost another like 4 tenths, which is ridiculous. And so far we're 8 tenths of a second down. Only 1.2 seconds down by the point of getting to turn 9. That's a lot less than I thought. 1.3 seconds, and I still think that wasn't clean enough. Yeah, literally, about 1.3 seconds. So there you have it, guys. If you have all the assists turned on to its maximum, so if you have braking assist on high, traction control on full, and you've got automatic gearbox, you're losing roughly about 1.3 seconds to yourself. Now remember, this is to yourself, not necessarily to other people who aren't using full assist. They might be taking better lines than you, so they might just generally be quicker anyway. So say for example, an esports driver was 1 second faster than you, and then you're obviously losing 1.3 seconds due to you using assists. You're losing 2.3 seconds per lap to an esports driver. So it's a pretty interesting experiment. I hope that you guys did enjoy this one. If you want to see more F122 content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I will see you guys in my next video.